Hello, I'm Tatiana Keys. It is May 14th, 2025. And I guess this is gonna be like my little way of journaling. But I just watched Physical 128's video. A friend of mine, his name is Giovanni. And I just kind of wanted to like relate to that or add on to my own personal life. I know like towards the end of the video, he was like, if you want, like, make a video, do this, do that, don't procrastinate it. And that's what I'm doing right now. Literally, like, watching the entire video, I was like, I should make a video. So here I am making a video. Basically, like, if you haven't seen the video, which you likely haven't, he goes over like a lot of us don't acknowledge like the little things in life, and we always kind of like strive for better, or like we'll think like we want to meet this little goal, but as soon as we meet that little goal, we want something more, like we need to take the time to appreciate the little things. So I'm kind of gonna like go over my stuff myself, and then maybe like talk about it afterwards. So I guess for like every goal that I reach, like I set like a little milestone for myself, and I always say I'm one step closer to greatness. So like technically I'm in my junior year of high school, but I'm graduating early. For me to get there, like even starting in elementary school, I kept my grades up, always A's and B's, A's and B's, A's and B's. That's that. And then I guess like once I got to middle school, it's the same thing. It's the same path. Ever since I was little, I was always like, I want to go to college. Like none of my family's ever been to college, so that's what I want to do. And now I can say I'm there, like I'm getting there. I guess towards middle school, like in middle school is when my parents became a little more lenient on my grades, or just things of that sort. Like I wouldn't say that they didn't care, it's just like, okay, like you do you. But a lot of kids, like what they'll do with that is there's like, oh, my parents don't care, so I'm gonna do whatever I want, my grades don't matter, this and that. But me, like I've always wanted better for myself, and so like I kept my grades up. I took high school classes in middle school. I did things of that sort. This is editing me. But I kind of just want to throw in there like everything that I've done, like my goals, like y'all listening to my video and everything. This does not mean like, this is your life. What may be good for me may not be like the best for you. Like I said, I've always kind of, received A's and B's, that's just the level that, I've strived to be at and things of that sort. But that doesn't mean that you have to receive those grades. Like whatever your best is, do that. If your best is receiving a C, like that's good. Just acknowledge what you have and like know your limit, like know what you can do, and that's just you in the moment right now. That's all you can do, like that's your best. But at a point in time, if you just want it bad enough, it's gonna keep growing. You can get to that A, you can get to that B, and it takes time, but you got it. Like I said, my accomplishments aren't your accomplishments, so don't expect my stuff to be like, oh, I have to be like her, oh, she's going to college, oh, she's going like graduating early, this and that. That's my path, that's what happened for me, that's what I've set for myself. And you can set something different for yourself, you can meet that goal, but don't compare yourself. Let's just say that it's something like comparison is a thief of joy. That's what it is. Okay, I don't know who said it, but I know like a cousin of mine or something says it. Comparison is a thief of joy. So just acknowledge that, like don't compare. Your best isn't my best. Like I could say whenever it comes to PT and ROTC, like I'm one of the people who are behind, but I do my best, and people acknowledge that. Like I'm not giving up. I personally don't like whenever I see other people like cheat themselves, because they're only hurting themselves. I'm doing the best I can, whereas like somebody else who's more fit than me finishes 2 laps before me or whatever it may be. But I don't compare myself to them because I know what I'm doing is my best. And I just wanted to throw that in there. And I had a goal set in mind. I wanted to get my AA in high school. Once I hit high school, in my freshman year, I did take a college class, and I took an AP class as well. And I struggled. I struggled a lot. But I did my best, and I said I would never take an AP class again. Like, honestly, I guess people don't realize like how hard it is. I guess one thing I could also say is like prepare yourself for your future. I could say like for technically in my senior year, but at the beginning of the year, like I had this schedule where like I was just like, do I want these classes, do I not want these classes, because I didn't really need much credits. I could have took like straight electives, but what I decided to do, instead of taking like fun electives, like pottery, IMAG, culinary, like things of that sort, I knew I wanted to go to college. So and I know I wanted to go for nursing, so I took anatomy and physiology. Even though it wasn't like a college class or anything, it's just like it's gonna set me up a little for whenever I do go to college, because I'll have like just a little hint of that class, like what's gonna be gone over. I took AP calculus this year, just because even though like I have a low chance of passing the test, like not to doubt myself, but I don't know, like I just took the test a few days ago and I don't know. But it's just like, even if I can't pass the test this year, it's like I have an idea of what it's going to be like whenever I go to college, so just take the opportunities that you have. And I've never had like a job in high school or anything. A lot of kids, like, they'll get a job, but personally, like I feel like a job slows a lot of people down, and I don't have the need for a job. Some people have the need for a job, but grateful to say like I don't have the need for it. If I had a job, it'd just be like money for fun and everything, or like I would have been saving for college if I didn't have the opportunity to get all these scholarships and whatever I have received. But just like take what you can and be grateful for what you have. Also, like, just appreciate all the little things and the little goals that you meet. Like Gio said, like, take yourself out, or like you don't even have to take yourself out, just acknowledge what you've done. Like whatever, I got accepted into UF, or like just things of that sort, like the fact that I'm graduating early. My parents, like my mom and her boyfriend, they took me out to dinner because I got the scholarship and I got I got accepted in college. And my dad still plans to take me out and everything. So it's like, even if you don't have that, like, you could still just acknowledge, hey, like, I made it. Like, I made it to this goal. And then you can make a new goal for yourself. But appreciate the fact that you allowed yourself, like, you set yourself up to make it to this one goal, and just be there for it and be happy, be proud of every step that you take. Like me, I guess I could say, like, I don't really try to think negative. I think thinking positive, like, no matter what is going on in your life, think positive, because you're just gonna keep having positive outcomes. Like, I've had some issues, like negative things. Like, I was in a relationship like a month or two ago for 9 months, and I got cheated on. It sucks. I cried the day it happened. Not to be like get into my personal life like that, but like, I cried when it happened. But like, after that, I was just like, okay, lesson learned. Like, I should have seen the red flags. It happened. Move on. Life goes on. Like, just remember that life goes on. Okay? Like, you could sit there in the moment, say like a loved one passed away or something, just think of the positive things. Like, I know it's not really positive, if a loved one does pass away or something, but just think like, hey, you know what? Like, they lived their best life, they did this, they did that, and they were there for me, and I live on in their legacy. Like, that's how I see it. Like, the thing with the relationship thing is like, okay, you know what? It happened. I'm never gonna get into a relationship with this kid again, and I'm not gonna associate with him. And you know, like I'm going off to college, like I got better things to do, I got better things to focus on. Like, don't lose your end goal, you know, the sky's the limit. Okay. um and there's always, in my eyes, this isn't in everybody's eyes, but there's always better. Okay, you can always get to like the best version of yourself, um which one day you will meet that, you will meet the best version, but that doesn't mean that there's not something better that you can do. You know, there's always things like outside of the box, outside of that cycle, like that Gio was talking about. There's a cycle, you know, like this path that you follow, you know, you get off track, you go back on. But and I mean like off track in a negative way, but get off track in a positive way, you know, like life, there's just so much to life. Like just live it, you know? If you get off path, you know, get off track and whatever, like just get back on, you know, you're gonna get there. You know, learn your lessons. You know, everything's not gonna be easy. If it's easy, then is it worth it? Like, I don't know, like if you're dreaming big, then there should be these hard parts of your life. You know, not everything is just gonna come to you like that. Like you have to work towards everything. And I just kind of wanted to throw that in there. If there's any more, I'll hop back in to the video and edit it. But for now, onto what I was saying. But then I actually had a friend of mine introduce me to online classes, and that was just like another goal I set for myself. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take online classes, I'm gonna get my credits as soon as I can. So that's what I did. I hit my sophomore year, but I began taking online classes, and you know, got my credits up, and you know, kept staying in honors classes. I took another college class, like things of that sort. But like my sophomore year was really wild. Like even though like I had my priorities straight, like I was focused on school and everything, I, you know, was living young, wild, and free. I would just say that. But I, you know, I received that judgment from what I did, and I learned from my mistakes, you know, like I was out partying or other stuff that I don't want to say on camera, I guess. But I did those things, and I still had my priorities straight while I was at it. So I want to say like I grew from that, you know? Like I've honestly, like my entire life, I mean, low income family. I had like love and support, but it wasn't like anything too big, you know? It was just kind of like, okay, you know, go to school, blah, blah. And like I can even say, once I like hit my high school years, it was harder for me to like get to school on time, you know? My parents, like, sorry. Thankfully, like, they let me and my brother stay in the school that we wanted, because of the ROTC program. Like, it's amazing. Like, honestly, like I was saying, my sophomore year, like, I was wild. But, like, I was taking weightlifting and we didn't do anything. And I wanted better for myself. And I got introduced to ROTC. So I joined ROTC, and that was the best decision I ever made. You know, I've always just wanted to do better, or like do things that I would know, like I know like could help me either now or like in the future, because you know, you have to stay in the present, because I mean, if you don't live in the present, then you're not gonna have a future. That's kind of how I see it. Also, like I know it's like going back and forth, whatever, but like in middle school, I was, you know, my dad like came home from prison and everything, and I made this decision to move in with my dad because I was having issues at home. And it's kind of been like a back and forth thing, where I move back and forth with my parents, whereas my brother and my sister, they like rarely move. Like my sister lived with my mom her entire life. My brother at a point like came and started staying with me and my dad, and then I moved back in with my mom after some time. But it's like I always want to do what's best for me, and it's not like it's like hurting anybody else, But like I've always had this kind of like, okay, these are my goals, this is what needs to be done to help me. And I don't want to seem like I'm selfish, or definitely not self-centered. I want to take the time to acknowledge what I have done. um so I guess like I was saying, like my sophomore year I started taking online classes and I took ROTC. And then over some time I just realized, I was like, what am I doing? Like, not when it came to school or anything, but just like the things I was doing like outside of school and everything. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I took the time to acknowledge, like, hey, you're wrong. Like, what's going on with you? You're just a kid. Like, calm down. And I did that. So you know, like going into my junior year and everything, like I was just on top of everything. I started applying to colleges. I started applying to scholarships, you know, things of that sort. Like I wrote my essay. I had somebody close to me, you know, look at it, review it, things of that sort. And like now, I mean, look at those acceptances back there. um, and I got into, I guess you could consider it my dream school, but like I got into UF. But like this entire year, my thing was like, I want this Navy nurse scholarship. I want this Navy nurse scholarship. And, you know, I also went for the Army scholarship. But I just kept saying, I'm like, that's not what I want. You know, like even if I got the Army scholarship over the Navy nurse scholarship, I don't know if I would have took it because that's not what I want. And like when I received that, congratulations, you received this scholarship, that's whenever I knew I'm one step closer. Like every day I'm getting one step closer to my dreams. And I'm gonna have life lessons to learn, you know, living for the plot. Like I did that, I'm doing that. And things happen. But it's up to you to kind of like move forward and just like know how many opportunities are out there, you know? Like, I guess something I would definitely say I would leave for everyone is realize that there are opportunities. You're not going to get everything you want in life, but if you do your best, if you work, like start everything early. I started everything early, like day one in the elementary school, like early. But at some point in time, you're going to get it. You know, you're going to go through these challenges, but you know, you just have to learn from them. You know, I went through my challenges and I've learned from them, and I'm still making mistakes. Like I'm still going through that life. Actually right now, so like I did receive the scholarship I wanted. Like that's what I was working towards all year. And like I applied for early graduation just because, you know, the whole AA degree plan didn't work out for me. One thing I can say about schools is, or like my school at least, they don't really teach you how to do dual enrollment or like do collegiate. So you kind of have to get around. I tried to get around to like hear about those things, but it didn't really work out for me. But whenever plan A didn't work, plan B, you have to have backups. Plan B is like, is amazing for me. Like I was even introduced, like into my junior year, I was introduced to the idea like I could still follow plan A. But I was like, you know what? It didn't happen when I needed it to happen. I don't want it anymore. So there's some things like you have to learn to give up. Like I gave up the idea of getting my AA degree in high school, so I could follow the path of getting this scholarship and graduating early. Like I have actually just got out of school recently and I graduate on the 20th, but I have like 28.5 credits as a junior, and I'm about to graduate with my brother, and I'm going to UF. I'm taking that scholarship, or like I should be. Like I don't want to jump to everything because even though I technically met that goal, I haven't received all the information I need back, or like if I don't do my best. And so for the scholarship, I have to go to camp. If I don't do my best there, I could lose everything. But it's just like, I have to take that time and realize like, hey, this is what needs to be done. So this is what I'm going to do. If I don't do that, I could lose my future, you know, or I have to go onto a different plan, onto a different plan, onto a different plan. And it's just like, you know, I would learn from it, definitely. It's just like, I really hope that doesn't happen. So I guess I'm just kind of acknowledging, like, hey, you know, you know, take the time to realize I've done this and I've done that, and so can you. So can literally any of you. And I know probably many people won't watch this video, but like, just I hope somebody takes something from it or like learns from it. Like, hey, you can do this no matter what you go through. Like, if you just try your best, you know, if you like, I guess my favorite saying, I don't know where it comes from or anything, but it's like, if you want it bad enough, you'll get it. Like, you'll do it. Like, even I guess you could say with like relationships, like if you want your relationship bad enough, you'll communicate, you'll do this, you'll do that, so y'all can stay together. Like, you have to want it. Everything that I've earned, I've wanted. You know, like I said, whenever I was younger, I always wanted to go to college, and I was like, I had aspirations to be in the medical field. And when I hit middle school, I kind of lost that interest. You know, I was wanting to be more into like the artsy stuff and performance and stuff of that sort. But like, whenever I hit high school, I realized like that wasn't gonna happen for me. You know, it's not like I crushed a dream or anything. It's just I had to look at reality, and that reality wasn't mine. It may be for somebody else, you know, but for me, it's just like, I'm not gonna go to college for that. Like, I can minor in it, but like, the idea of, you know, being in the medical field got brought back to me, and now I'm like supposed to be going to the University of Florida to get my bachelor's degree in nursing and be a pediatric nurse in the Navy. Like, I hope everything goes to plan. You know, I guess something related to what Giovanni had said in his video is like, you get to one goal, like you're happy and like you're excited to reach that one goal, but as soon as you get to that goal, there's something further. You know, like you already set a new goal. My thing is like, you know, like I'm a little scared. To be honest, I am a little scared to, you know, go to college and everything, but there's nothing wrong with that. Like, the quote he brought up, it was something related to, like, if you're not scared of your dreams, then you're not dreaming big enough. I think that's like, that's really true. But that's why, like, I say, like, I'm scared. Like, what if I go to college and I'm just not ready, you know? Or like, I stress myself out too much, or I don't learn to time manage. But at the same time, if you want it bad enough, you're gonna do that. Like, I know I've always, you know, aspired to be a pediatric nurse. So I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna learn all these skills. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, so I can follow through with that path. And yeah, I want everybody to realize that, like, you're gonna be held back or you're gonna be scared, but like, if you want it, I know I keep saying this, but like, if you want it bad enough, like, you're gonna get it. So do it, and don't look back. Do it. You know, I kind of just, you know, I want to get out my county. My county is not the best place to be. I love my family, but I gotta get out, and I'm getting out a year early. Like, I don't know. So I'll give myself a pat on the back too. And I just, you know, like how Gio said, like, give yourself a pat on the back, like, for everything you've done. Like, you go through this life every single day, and it's up to you to learn from it. Every decision, like, or like whatever your outcome is based off the decisions that you make, like, based on your actions, you know. And sometimes that's not how it is for everybody. You know, they grow up in a certain household or a certain environment where they can't move on from it. But a lot of it, you have to look at it a certain way. Me, I looked at it as like, you know, I grew up in this life and I don't want this life for myself. I don't want this to be my future, so I have to move on from it. And that's how people need to start thinking. Like, if you can recognize it, then you can move on from it. Like, and I guess the same thing is, like, say like a friend is telling me about their relationship or something, or like something they notice themselves doing. I'm just like, okay, well, you realize that you're this way, that means you can change it. That means if you know it needs to adjust, then you can adjust it. And it's just, that's the same thing with life. Like, if you recognize these things, then you can work towards changing that or doing better and things of that sort. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say. I kind of just wanted to acknowledge like the things I've done, and also kind of give lessons, like, while, you know, speaking from my experience. And I mean, that's what I got. Like I said, I'm a little scared, but at the same time, like, I'm ready to go. Like, I wouldn't be graduating high school early if I wasn't ready. You know, thing is, like, college isn't for everybody, and I keep telling people that. Like, just because I'm going to college doesn't mean I'm doing better than people. You know, everybody has their own path and, you know, their own desires, and that's what you can choose to follow through with. College isn't for everybody. That's just always what I've wanted, and, you know, my family supports me on that. Of course they do. But you know, I support whatever people's decisions are, and I hope everybody can learn from that. You know, you don't have to go to college for everything. I mean, there's trade school, there's the workforce, there's the military. Like, find what is for you. You know, I decided that I wanted this military scholarship because I felt like it was for me. You know, it's not for everybody. I never seen myself going to the military until I was introduced to the scholarship, and I looked at everything, I researched everything, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, like, I want to do that. You know, the military benefits. I have a job right after I get out of college. My college is full ride, and then on top of that, like, my financial aid from UF, like, they don't have me paying anything right now. And it's like, all of this is because everything that I have done, or just my family's support. Like, I could say my family wasn't there to, like, apply to colleges for me or keep my grades up, things of that sort. Like, at the end of the day, I was introduced to options and, like, these paths and everything, but at the end of the day, like, I did this for myself, and I want people to realize that, like, everything you do is for yourself. You build your own future. And yeah, I'm trying to think back to Gio's video, because that is kind of what I'm responding to right now, or just, like, you know, acknowledging. I guess he also kind of talked about, like, you know, just making little comments that people can make their day and things of that sort. So it's just like, just know, like, yes, you could do the best for yourself, but you could change someone's life by just saying something. You can make the littlest comment. You can have the smallest conversation. You can just, you know, just get out there, get out in the world, be social, and you might change someone's life, and you might change yours too. And with that, I think that's, like, everything for me. I don't know if I'm gonna post this. If I do, hey, y'all see it, like, y'all peep the room. But yeah, thank y'all for listening to my TED Talk or whatever.